Hi guys, we are going to look at Microsoft Excel in this video. Just going to give you the basic overview of Excel. I'm going to make a few videos because there's a few things that you need to know how to do in Excel, especially the calculations. But first of all, let's just run through our layout view of the program, and then we'll take it from there. So first of all, when you open up your Excel program, you're going to see a new book. As you can remember, in Microsoft Word we work with documents, but when we work in Excel we work with a book. Alright, so of course this is your title bar, same as in MS Word, but it says book instead of document. You also have your quick access toolbar, same as in Word, where you can undo and redo if need be. On the right hand side, you've got your options to either exit the program, minimize the window, and restore the window down if you want to. But it's wise to always keep your window full screen, then you work easier in your program. Okay, this section over here, of course, is the ribbons. These are your tabs. There is not a major difference between Microsoft 2013 package and the 2016 package. The tabs are pretty much the same. There is a few extra tabs in 2016, but those tabs we don't really use anyway. The ones that you see here in the video is basically the ones that you're going to work with a lot. Okay, and then the next section over here, this is what we call the formula bar. When I click on one of these little boxes, we call this a cell, an active cell, and the moment when I click on a cell, it'll give me a cell address in the name box, as you can see. It's column B and it's row 5, and then it shows me B5. Okay. Then we have our column headings and we have our row numbers. As you can see, the column headings is numbered as letters, so A, B, C, D, and it goes all the way up to very far. Same with the numbers, but the numbers, the rows are numbered. So rows are numbered and column headings is alphabetically numbered. I'll put it like that. Okay. And then also important here at the bottom, you will notice that we have sheets in our book. Makes sense that when you open a book, you have a sheet in a book. So in 2016, I know you only have one sheet and you can add extra sheets. In my version, when you open a new book, you've got already 3 sheets and you can toggle between sheets. With other words, at the moment we're in sheet 1, so with my mouse, if I click on sheet 2, then I go to a new sheet. If I click on sheet 3, I go to a brand new sheet. Okay, so if you don't need to use the other sheets, then you don't have to. You can stay on one sheet, right? And this button over here is just to add new sheets. If you want to add new sheets to your book. These buttons over here is to show different view modes. At the moment we're in normal mode. The next view mode is page layout mode. So when I click on page layout mode, you will notice that the view is now completely different. And this is also where you insert your header and your footers. Alright, so when you need to insert a header or a footer in Excel, you just change the view from normal to page layout. You can also do this under the View tab. So if I click on View, you will notice there is your different workbook views. There's normal, there's page break view, and there's page layout. I will not recommend page break preview. This is a little bit more advanced. So at this stage, use either normal view or page layout view. What I will recommend is after you've inserted your header or your footer, because remember we insert headers and footers to identify ourselves in the exam in the regard of what question we're busy with and what is our identification number or our initial surname. So after inserting a header, for example, I'm just going to type a header so that you can see. After inserting a header or your footer, go back to the normal view. It's better to work in normal view because here you can see how many pages you are working with, etc., etc. At the moment, I'm not sure if you can see this on the video. I will just zoom in a little bit. When I go back to my normal view, I've got this little stat line over here. Now, if you have a look, this little stat line indicates where is the edge of my page. So that means the moment when I start going over the stat line, then I'm moving into a new page in Excel. So it's very handy to see the stat line, then you know that you are still in the parameters of one page. Okay, and if I scroll down, you will see that here is the stat line for the bottom of the page. Like I said, I'm not sure if you can see it on the video. I'll just zoom in a little bit more. You can see the bottom stat line. It looks like it's clear now. There is the bottom stat line of the page, which means again, if you move over the stat line, it means you're going to move to a new page in your document or in your book. Okay, right. Now to get back, under the Home tab, we have the same options. Some of the options are very similar than that of MS Word. For example, our clipboard is still the same. Your paste options, your cut options, your copy options, and of course your format painter. Under the font box, this is where you change your font, changing the font size, bolding, italics, underline, as well as shading a cell and shading or changing the font color. And this button over here is your borders. This is where you're going to insert borders in Microsoft Excel. But we will get to that when I do maybe an activity for you. Then you have again your alignment box. These buttons are new because we are working in Excel, wrapping text and merging its center. But I'll show you guys nicely how this works. You also have indent buttons, but be careful not to use indents in Microsoft Excel. We don't really use indents as much as we do in Word. And these are your alignment buttons within a cell. Okay, it works the same whether you want to type, for example, if I type text within a cell. At the moment it's left aligned. I can center align the text and I can also right align the text. Now, as you can see, you're probably wondering what's happening here. Why is this happening? The reason why the text is moving and you can't see the text is because of the width of the column. If your column width is too small and you change the alignment of the text, then the text basically disappears. So it's very important that you align your column widths with your text. So to increase the size of your columns, there's two ways you can do that. With your mouse, you can click and drag between the columns. So you click normally and you just hold the button and drag. Then you increase the size of the column to fit the text. Or you can go to the format option under cells. And here you can say either changing the row height or auto fit the row height, column width, auto fit the column width. The nice thing with auto fit is it'll fit the information according to the length of the text. So for example, instead of clicking and dragging, I could also go to auto fit the column width, and then the column will automatically fit according to the text. So in other words, do you see what happened there? When I clicked on auto fit the column width, it automatically changed the width of the column according to the length of the text. Okay. And then we will later have a look at what's happening here in the number box. This is to change the format of your numbers. If you're working with figures, whether you want the number, your figures to be either a number or currency, or maybe accounting, or whether it's a date or a time, or even changing it to a percentage. The whole main reason why we work in Excel is so that we can do basic calculations. That's why I have to show you guys how to work with Excel, because you want to work with basic calculations. At the moment I've just typed text, so obviously you can't make calculations with text. But we'll get to, I will make a video where I will do a activity that's also in your textbooks, so that you can see how the calculations work. Okay, for now, you also have a sort and filter option in Excel. If you want to sort information, you have sort from A to Z or sort from Z to A, depending on which column. This option here is your custom sort. This is when you want to sort information according to a different column. As you can see here, I've got column sort by, at the moment it's column C, but you can change it depending on your information. You can change it. You either want to sort it by column A, column B, whatever the case might be. And it will also ask you how, based on what do you want to sort it. You can either sort it on the values. These are extra options: cell color, font color, cell icon, but in this case it will always be on values. Alright, and then you can say, okay, on which order do you want to sort your information, A to Z or Z to A. Of course, A to Z is from small to large, and Z to A is from large to small. That's when you're working with numbers, of course. Okay. And this will also change. It's showing us A to Z because at the moment we have text, we don't have numbers. The moment when we have numbers, this will change from smallest to largest, or from largest to smallest. Okay, then our next tab is the Insert tab. Under the Insert tab, the ones that we're going to use quite often is inserting graphs. I will show you guys nicely how to work with graphs, although we'll see if we're doing graphs, check if it is part of the syllabus. Then you have your page layout. Under your page layout, this is also where you can go and change margins and orientation, as well as your paper size. Okay. The ones that's important here, guys, is grid lines and headings. Now, the grid lines that they are referring to is these little lines that you see currently in your document. Those are grid lines. If you want to print these little grid lines, then you will select the option to print it. Same with the headings. The headings is the column headings, the A, B, C, D, E, F, etc. and the row numbers, number 1 to whatever the case might be. And if you want to print these headings, if you get an instruction to print these headings, you will go to page layout under headings and you will select the option to print. Okay. Then under formulas, this is also where we're going to use our functions, if we want to insert functions. And the other thing that we're going to use here is to show the formulas, to show how we did our calculations. All of the other buttons here, guys, is for more advanced Excel, so you do not have to worry about that right now. Remember, we are only looking at the basics at this stage. And then under formulas, the ones we're going to use is this option over here, our basic calculations, sum, average, counting numbers, maximum, minimum, and there is of course more functions, but we will go through all of these functions in a new video. Then you have a data option. We are not going to use any functions under the data option. Then we also have a review tab. Under the review tab is again if you want to check for spelling errors. Now the difference between Word and Excel is if you do make spelling errors in Excel, it doesn't underline red like it does in Word. So if you want to double check your work, you will just have to click on review and let MS Excel check if you made any spelling errors. This is handy so that you don't end up making spelling mistakes, because remember, you do get penalized if you make spelling errors. And then of course the last tab here is your view tab, and like I said, the only thing you really have to check here under the view tab is changing your layout for printing and when working in the document. So always work a normal, only change to page layout when you want to insert a header or a footer. Alright. As you notice, if you go to the normal tab, you don't see your header. You know, like you can see your header in Microsoft Word, but you can't see it in Excel. You can only see the header when you go to your print preview. When you click on File, sorry, let me just show you that again. When you click on File, you basically have the same options as you did in Microsoft Word. You can save as, and again you browse and you look for your folder, same thing. And then of course, if you want to print, you click on Print, and the moment you click on Print, you will see your print preview. Again, please check how much pages you have in your document before you just start printing. And if you have too many pages, ask for assistance so that you don't end up printing 1,000 pages. And if you have a look in your print preview, you can see there's your header and there is the information that you've typed in your workbook, in your Excel workbook. Always very, very important. When you need to print, you have to click on the print button over here, otherwise you will never receive a printout. Okay, so this is your basic overview of Microsoft Excel. There's not a lot of things that we're going to use here, you know, as much as there is in MS Word, and there's a few similarities between Excel and Word, but for this program the important thing is working with doing the calculations. Okay, thanks for watching.